Welcome back, everybody. I'm trying something new this week, Jazz. Welcome back, people. I'm not quite so hyper and jazzy. It's another episode of Connect, Share, Prosper. And we're talking about goal setting. It's the month of December, and we are talking about goal setting. So, Chaz, you have accomplished a lot of goals. And so I'm curious as to how you set them.
Well, so first how I set them is I do them in 4 quadrants, really. Okay. So business, financial, health, spiritual, and I've now added a 5th because I kind of was doing it as it was, and that's relational. So I've kind of added that as another. For instance, like my family, my wife, or my children, right? What's the goal there? So in each of those categories, I write them up on my whiteboard, and then I write down what's the most important thing. What is the most important thing that would make everything better in that? Like, how do I drive that? So for instance, I might say, for say relational, I might say I want to I want to take my wife somewhere this year, right? So that might be my big goal there. I might want to, I might want to lose 20 pounds, my health goal. I might want to run a race. Business, I might want to, reach a certain income for the business, right? Yep. So I write those all down, and then I use from 5+1, my book. Right? 5.
Yeah.
Right. So I do the SMART goals, the specific, the measurable, the action focused, realistic, and time bound. And I create my goals that way. That's kind of the activity. But what's interesting is when I write them down, Chris, is I start to go, what would make that better? How could I plus that? How could I plus that? Why is that important? I start to ask those questions and clarity in that. That's the activity that I go through. Yeah.
How many goals will you put in each quadrant, in each of the 4 or 5 boxes?
Really just one big goal, because I think more than, if I have 5 quadrants and I have 5 goals, that's a lot anyway.
Yeah.
More than that, I just feel like I get distracted. I get too overwhelming. Like, where do I start? How do I accomplish it? Right.
Got it. What do you feel like are some of the, goals that, anybody listening to a podcast, because I think most people, especially a business podcast, tend to be personal development. They think about goal setting. But I'm curious if there are any nuances or overlooked things or secret hacks you found that most people haven't heard of at this point or are overlooking.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something people haven't heard of, but so for instance, the reason why I go one big goal is because, quite frankly, I'm going to forget everything else I write down. I'm just... Yeah, this is what I'm laser focused on in this category. And the second thing is when I write them down, so I do write them down, I carry them with me. What I put on there is I promise to. So instead of saying this is my goal, it's my commitment. So I put I promise to, because the word promise is so powerful, right? If you have kids, somebody watching this, you have kids and you say, I promise, my God, you better do it because your kids are going to hold you to it.
Right. Yeah.
There's power in words, right? So that's why I put at the end, not goals. I just put, I promise to. And if it's like 20 pounds by whenever, like that's what I promise to do.
As soon as you said that, like my gut was like, whoo, like, oh, wow. This is not like, sometimes goal setting can feel like a dreaming thing. Like I want, or this would be really nice, but like, I promise to is like a whole other conversation.
Well, cause I think people get it. There's some people I know that they get in like this activity that feels good to make a goal, but then they do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that. That to me is like too much that I can't finish. I can't get done. I can't close it out. I can't cross it off. And so,
Okay. Let me ask you one more thing. And then we can wrap this. So what, I know that, there's a commitment to it. Like, I promise to whatever. Right. So I know that. I get that. And I want to know, like, in all the goals that you've set and accomplished and achieved, because you've achieved great things, like what is, besides the I promise to and the now make good and that stuff, like what is the thing that has you accomplish the goals? Like, what is it? What's the ingredient
that gets me to accomplish them?
Yeah.
Man, that is a really good question. I don't know. I'm just very much a disciplined, committed person. If I'm going to put my mind on something, I want to accomplish it. I don't like to quit, to fail, to anything. So if I set a goal, I want to accomplish it. I don't know where that inner drive comes from. I really don't. I've thought about that before, and I don't know if I've been able to pinpoint it. I want to accomplish things. I think what it is, man, I think really it's this idea in my own mind that I'm always trying to get to that better version of me. I'm always trying to just get better and better and better. I don't want to get to a place at the end of my life of regret. I just don't. I don't want to think like, here's my potential and here's where I'm operating, and this gap in between just drives me crazy. And so maybe it's that going, okay, I set this goal up here, I'm operating here, and I just don't want that gap to hold me back. And maybe that's what drives me.
I like that. I'm sure for everybody, it's a little bit different, whatever their thing is, but I like that there's this, I used to listen to Jim Rohn in my car when I was newly into real estate. And he always said, like, if you have a big enough why, you'll endure any how to get there. And I can't say that I'm particularly smart when it comes to marketing. Like, I have intelligence, but it's not like I'm the best marketer on the world. I also wouldn't say like I understand business better than others. I think I'm super stubborn, though, to my credit. When I see something, I'm like, no, that is what I want, and I will figure out how to get there. And it's just a big enough why to endure any how to get there. Yeah. It sounds like what you're saying. I don't know if that's exactly what you're saying, but
yeah, it is. I mean, when I know the purpose and I know that I have potential to achieve it, I think it's the idea that I'm not achieving it now that I've identified this is what my goal is because I'm not achieving it. Then it's like becomes this massive obsession. It's like the quote, your obsession becomes your possession, right? So whatever I obsess about, I'm going to possess. So if I want a better relationship, I should obsess about it. Like where we're told, don't obsess over this. No, you should. What you want, it should be what drives you and you think about all the time.
I love that. So good. So good. Okay, good. Well, that's a great place to wrap. And I think next time in the next episode, we can talk about actually planning, like business planning. So in all the goals of life, one of those areas is business. And once you have a goal in business, then we want to start to give ourselves some actionable steps to take. And I think that's what we can call a business plan. So until then, Chaz, where can people reach out to you about joining Master Networks or even having you help them in their business?
Yeah, so go to masternetworks.com or chazwilson.com, but hit up our websites. You can find information about business networking groups everywhere where we talk about this stuff on a weekly basis. You plug into our stuff. You can see this to where we can become better business people, educate, equip, and empower each other to be the best entrepreneurs possible.
I love it. Thanks, Chaz. Great episode. See you next time.
All right, be well.